In game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Boston Celtics made one little adjustment and it absolutely shut down everything the Pacers wanted to do. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what happened, and we're going to look at the film, and we're going to show you guys what they need to do next if they want to potentially sweep the Indiana Pacers. Now, going back to game 1, this first clip is from game 1. The thing that they did really well was set this high pick and roll with Miles Turner, forcing a switch, right? Forcing Al Horford to now pick up Tyrese Halliburton, and now it's an instant mismatch, right? Now, again, let's break down this play exactly. Whenever we get this high pick and roll with the Pacers, and I'm telling you, if you guys watched game 1, they ran this probably 95% of the time, hunting down Al Horford every single play down the floor, right? Now, this is basically what they would do every time. Get that high pick and roll, force a switch, force Derek White to now pick up, Miles Turner, and then you get the main mismatch here of, Halliburton, and then getting Al Horford into a drop zone where he's just trying to prevent Halliburton from getting into the paint, right? And that was the game plan for us. But as we can realize on this play, it's not going to work at all. Miles Turner does a good job just staying in the way of Derek White, and they ran this every single time. Al Horford trying to switch back on Miles Turner, but just can't. Absolute mismatch, and Halliburton is going to pull up for a wide open three. And I guarantee you can go back and watch this game. The amount of pick and roll they ran at the high point of the arc, I guarantee you it's almost 90% of their plays came from the high pick and roll. But look at this one adjustment that the Celtics made in game 2. Now, if you guys have watched any Pacers basketball all year long, the one thing you notice is they play very fast, but also when they set up in the half court, their main offense is high pick and roll with Miles Turner, getting Halliburton on the opposing center. Now, how do you combat that? Well, it's easy, especially if you're a team like the Boston Celtics, who have a ton of defensive versatility and switchability. Now, the one thing we'll notice in the entirety of this game is instead of Al Horford covering Miles Turner, we have now switched it to Jason Tatum. So now instead of getting, let's just say Miles Turner comes up here and sets this screen on Jrue Holiday, now he's not only going to get Tatum as your next defender instead of Al, but also has Jrue off the backside, which is giving you two of the toughest perimeter defenders in the NBA to go by, which is something that the Pacers didn't want at all. So instead of going back to that high pick and roll, they just kind of settled for isolation basketball. And you might ask, well, why don't they just use now Pascal Siakam as your main screen man, right? And then get Al Horford on the switch. Well, Pascal is not a great screener, right? He's not a guy who's going to set insane screens. So like we saw in that last play, Miles Turner did a really good job keeping Derek White away from the play. Jrue Holiday is going to be able to get right over it, right? Jrue Holiday is going to fight around it, and it's going to make things even tougher for a guy like Tyrese Halliburton. But again, in this game, we did such a good job getting that mismatch, or not getting the mismatch, but putting Tatum on Miles Turner, and that main source of offense wasn't there. Now, they did still find ways to score, like right here, good step back move on Jrue Holiday. He still got it to go, but we're going to see here very shortly their, quick offense in the first quarter disappeared because they weren't used to, not playing that pick and roll. Once you're in the half court, they run one sort of offense. And again, on this play specifically, right, usually this would be Al Horford right here. And you run this play to come him off 3 screens, and then boom, now Tyrese Halliburton is suddenly on Al Horford because we switch everything. But instead, Al's in the corner on Pascal Siakam, and instead of getting Al as that mismatch, you come over and now you lock in Jason Tatum as your main, as your main defender. And again, that's just not what they wanted to do. Boom. Now you have Tatum on you. Now you're in a bad situation, and now you got to get the ball out of your hands. Whenever you can get the ball out of Tyrese Halliburton's hands, out of Miles Turner's hands, out of Pascal Siakam's hands, boom, that is beautiful. The Celtics made an amazing game 2 adjustment, but game 3 is going to be even tougher, and I'll show you why. Now, real quickly, before we get into the next adjustment we need to make, I just want to prove to you guys that this is exactly what was happening. So the whole game, we didn't see too much high pick and roll, and on this play specifically, again, what do we see? Jason Tatum on Miles Turner, right? So he takes him out the equation. He's not going to be the guy that comes to set the screen. Guess who goes over and sets the screen here? And this is another thing the Celtics will have to adjust to. But just take a guess right now in the comments. Who do you think comes up and sets the screen, right? Yes, you're probably right. Luke Cornett. Or not Luke Cornett, but they're going to come over and set TJ McConnell just so they can get this switch right here. And watch how this plays. Or always, Luke Cornett's not a guy who's great defensively, especially around the perimeter. So he's going to actually call for a screen from TJ McConnell, the smallest guy on the floor. And what that does, it puts, Luke Cornett in a tough spot. Do I stay in this drop zone? It's actually a ghost screen. So, Luke Cornett actually drops when he should actually be getting back over to, TJ McConnell. And we leave him open for a little mid-range, which, listen, we'll take that shot every day over a Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, high pick and roll, and then get the mismatch versus Al. We'll take that every single time. But the fact of the being is, they were so scared to run that high pick and roll with Miles Turner that they used TJ McConnell instead, right? Ghost screen, beautiful. If you're Luke Cornett, you really got to just get back to TJ McConnell really quickly right here. We have, weak side or strong side help here by Jaylen Brown. Luke Cornett's got to get back out to TJ McConnell, and we just got to be able to fix that. But you can already see in this game, they did not want to use Miles Turner as a screen man anymore because Halliburton didn't want Tatum on. Alright, before we get into the next major adjustment that the Celtics are going to have to make for Game 3 and Game 4, I need you guys to do me a favor, hit that like button just so we can get this video out to more Celtics fans around the world, but also subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's free, it doesn't cost anything, and we will be live streaming every single Celtics game, okay? We'll be live reacting to it. We'll be commentating and just talking about it, breaking down the plays live in action. So make sure you guys join the family or go follow the Twitch as well. We live stream over there. The same thing. It's Matty Dubs with 3 S's, or you can find the link in the description below. But join the family, man. Come watch the games with me. Definitely a great atmosphere. But what is the main problem that the Celtics need to fix? The mismatch, right? They're always going to have, and we're going to talk about it in a second, but you see here, Jaylen Brown on Pascal Siakam. We take our wings, we put them on their bigs. It eliminates their high pick and roll. Let's see how we fix it. Now, this is where the next problem for the Boston Celtics will come. Obviously, the adjustment to move our wings to their bigs in terms of Jason Tatum and Miles Turner, and, majority of the time trying to get JB on Pascal Siakam. The main issue becomes then they have a size advantage in the paint almost every single time down the floor. And at the end of the first half, Siakam was just absolutely cooking down low because, quite frankly, we didn't have the height to match up with them, especially when Al Horford was not on the floor. And Pascal did such a good job. But when you take away their high pick and roll, you open up something else for their offense. And in this case scenario, you're giving them just easy paint play. Again, on this play specifically, we have no big, which forces Drew Holiday on Pascal Siakam here early on this play, and they're just going to go back at it almost every single time. We see Halliburton driving in, just trying to, get the ball over to Pascal Siakam. They do, and then they have this clear and easy mismatch in the paint for Siakam to work for. And, we did a really good job just making these tough buckets. And you go down, we see it again, right? No big man. When you put our wings on their bigs, they're going to have that mismatch. But is it worth it, right? We talk about giving up so many threes in that drop zone coverage when they get Al Horford on that easy high pick and roll switch. It's so easy for them to score. And we literally saw that in game 1, right? Game 2, they really didn't have anything besides Pascal Siakam getting into the post and easily scoring, right? And just having that mismatch. Now, the way you can combat this, there's only one way to do it, right? But while still being, still taking away that high pick and roll. And if I'm being honest, this is exactly what I would do. Now, let's look at how we stop this mismatch almost every single time down the floor. So we basically did the first job. We eliminated Tyrese Halliburton from the high pick and roll, and we kind of just, he's out the game. He's not doing anything, right? He's basically just sitting there as a distraction every single play because he doesn't have that high pick and roll. I will credit him. Fast break opportunities, he's amazing. But when they don't have a fast break opportunity, it's so tough for them to score baskets, right? Now, again, they found their bread and butter, getting the ball to Pascal Siakam, and let him work. Let him, go against these size advantages. Let him go against, Al and Jaylen and Drew and Derek White. Let him just work, right? Now, how do we combat this, boys? So what do we say here? So he's going to get into the post right here. Now, the main thing that you need to do as the Celtics is you need to be able to move quickly, okay? Now, what I mean by that is we see Derek White, he's going to stunt for a second, but then get back, okay? This is a very good plan, and I think we need to do this every single time. So as long as we have this matchup right here, Miles Turner on Jason Tatum on Miles Turner, they're actually going to play Miles Turner a lot less, and they're going to not even look for that high pick and roll anymore, right? So it's definitely taking Turner and Halliburton out the game. But now we have to figure out how to get the ball out of Pascal Siakam's hands, right? And this is how you do it. You double team off the catch in the low post, right? So again, they're going to try to feed this post. You're going to see Derek White stagger, get over there quickly. But I think we're a little bit too, cautionary, right? We're a little bit too scared that the guys like Andrew Nembhard, right? Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, Tyrese Halliburton at the top of the key. We're nervous that these guys are going to hit their threes. And if they do, maybe we resort to just allowing Pascal Siakam to go one-on-one the entire game. Maybe we allowed that to happen. But if he's getting hot like he did last night, I think we send to get the basketball out of his hands, and then Derek White's got to sprint back here. Or we can have full rotation, everyone rotating over, right, after the pass. And just, we have to have good communication as well. But you talk about how to stop Pascal Siakam getting these easy mismatches almost every single time. You send two from the strong side, and then hopefully you can get back and at least draw a closeout on the three ball, right? Best case scenario, this is what we're doing. We're taking the ball out of Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner's hands. And we're forcing guys like Andrew Nembhard, who we know can shoot, Aaron Nesmith, Obi Toppin, who else? Jalen Smith, Isaiah Jackson. We're forcing those guys to hit big time shots. The Ben Shepherds, right? And I will take that every single day of the week is if we can, guarantee shutting down Pascal, shutting down the high pick and roll with Miles Turner, and then obviously shutting down the mismatch of Tyrese Halliburton and what he can do after high pick and roll, especially with Miles Turner getting Al Horford on you every single time, right? We already took that away, right? So I will take the Ben Shepherds and the Andrew Nembhards and the Aaron Nesmiths getting closeout threes. I would live with that every single day. And like we saw, Siakam had one hell of a game just making these tough buckets, and we'll see every single time down the floor, even the very next bucket they had. Boom, again, you draw this isolation with Pascal Siakam versus Jaylen Brown, right? How do you eliminate this, right? Think about it for a second. They're actually going to clear out this entire right side, forcing nobody to be able to come over and help. But the one thing you'll notice is they have so many guys on this side. We can send Al Horford here, and Jason and Drew will be able to close out both sides here, like really quickly, right? And then you have Derek White, you can help as well. So, I mean, there's so many different options you can do. But if I'm the Boston Celtics, I am sending Al Horford on the double and getting the ball out of his hands. And yes, maybe that forces a closeout three for Aaron Nesmith. But at the end of the day, I will take that almost every single day of the week over Pascal Siakam getting easy buckets in the paint almost every single time. And again, you see this mismatch. He's going to take it every single time. And he just had a good day in terms of getting buckets, right? At the end of the day, I think we know exactly how to stop it, right? I don't know what we were doing here. I think we're in some sort of zone on this play specifically. Obviously, just letting Pascal Siakam shoot is probably not the best thing to do. But again, you see even on this play specifically, they have a clear and easy mismatch again, right? And if they would have kicked it here to Miles Turner on Drew Holiday, again, send the strong side. Send Jason Tatum on the double. Get the basketball out of these guys' hands. And what I mean by that specifically, Miles Turner, keep it away from him. Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. You eliminate those guys from the game, I think we win this game by 40, maybe more, right? And I think that's got to be the next adjustment. After taking out Tyrese from the high pick and roll with Miles Turner, you now just have to get rid of Siakam. And again, getting rid of Siakam is going to force them to have some open shots here and there in the corner. But again, I will live with their role players having to score 20 and 30 points, right? I'll live with that. Just eliminate Pascal Siakam, and I think we could sweep this series. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.